Welcome back to FHN. You'll notice we're not in the bait lab today. We are outside on the lake because we got a messy recipe that we need to make. This recipe is brought to you by Mack's Lure. Today, we're going to be mixing up shrimp bait, okay? And my mom never told me, she said, don't give away our recipes, Tommy, okay? But Dwayne kind of twisted my arm, and so we're going to make some shrimp bait today, okay? Now, it's going to start with just some very basic elements. You can go and get some shrimp pellets. You can get them anywhere. Now, what I've done is I've got about, just under a quarter bucket of shrimp pellets. Now, what I've added to this is some Friskies dry cat food, okay? Add about half as many pellets as you put in, okay? So that's the base, that's what's in the bucket. And then from there, we're gonna go on to our wet components. And you're gonna see Friskies is getting a little bit more of my business. We're gonna get some wet cat food, okay? So that's what's coming up next. I'm gonna start by opening up all these babies. If you look here, what do I got? I got about 10 cans. We're gonna open these up, throw them in the bucket. Shrimp bait is that you've got something that's going to release scent immediately as soon as you put the pot down, and then it's going to work every 10 minutes. It's going to continue to release, right? So those big pellets that you got in there, those are a time release thing. Those are going to release a little bit in the beginning and then just kind of incrementally until you're done with your set. Whereas when we start adding things like, the Pautzke's shrimp fuel, crab and shrimp fuel, or you start adding some of the other things that we've got like tuna bloodline, that stuff is going to release instantly. And the goal is to get that scent trail moving immediately, because if you think about it, in Puget Sound outside LA Bay in Area 10, we've got 4 hours, right? So you've got to have a massive scent trail immediately. So next thing we're going to do is get some bloodline. All right, so what you're looking at here is tuna bloodline. And this is really the part of the tuna that carries the blood back and forth from head to tail. And it's basically that main artery that goes back on the tuna. And it's where a lot of scent, a lot of the blood, a lot of that flavor is too. It's something that we do not eat. So I'm gonna put this down here and I'm gonna get to chopping up this bloodline. Now, one of the things that I failed to do that I'm going to tell you right now you need to do is put some gloves on, okay? Okay, now the thing that I want you to remember is not everybody has access to tuna. So if you don't have any tuna, don't worry, go to the store. You can go to like an H Mart or Wajamaya's and find the nice greenback mackerels. Use those. It's a great oily substitute if you don't have tuna. Okay, the next thing I've got here is some herring that's been brined, rock salted. There's nothing really special about the brine or the rock salt. It's just that I want a little variety, and I'm going to put some more bait fish in. So I'm going to break these out, I'm going to cut these up, and it's going to join the tuna in the bucket. Packages of 2013 tuna. Let me tell you right now, that is a sin, okay? You have to manage your freezers. I go through my freezers twice a year. I make sure I document everything. I know where everything is. Do not let this happen to you. This is a shame. Don't let anything go to waste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut open this tuna, cut it up, and it's going to join the bucket for the shrimp bait. Okay, now that's it for the ingredients. So just a little bit of a recap here. We've got shrimp pellets, we've got dry cat food in here, we've got wet cat food in here, right? And when you pick the flavors, you know, try to get a fish flavor or a seafood flavor cat food. The other thing we've got in here is we've got some bloodline from tuna. We've got a couple tuna loins that were old, out of date, and freezer burnt. And then we got some herring that's been cut up and put in here. That's what we have in here so far. We've got a pretty full bucket. Okay, we're getting to the top. Now, probably the most important ingredient that you got to mix in your tuna is you got to have that oil, that brine, that scent of some point. So that's where the Pautzke's crab and shrimp fuel comes into play. We're going to take this entire bottle, we're going to shake it first, right? Because there's a lot of sediment in here. You got to shake it really good, and then you're going to basically douse your entire bucket of shrimp bait with this, and then we're going to go to the mixer. All right, off to the mixer, baby. You know, we really wanted to do this in the kitchen, but Sherry kicked us out. So we're outside right now, and I guess it's probably the right thing to do, okay? Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this 1/2-inch drill, and we're gonna take a paint mixer, and we're gonna mix the bait, okay? And we're gonna mix it until you can't tell what's what, and make it all homogeneous. Mixed it for a little bit, and we were kind of noticing, if you look at it, that it was a little bit dry. It didn't have the viscosity that we were looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more of the Pautzke's crab and shrimp fuel to the mix, so that it has a little bit more liquid. Because if you remember, the thing that we want to really promote is a constant scent trail, and you're never going to go wrong using too much of this, since you do have all the solids in there. So I poured probably another half bottle in here, and then we'll mix this together. All right, so we've mixed it up probably a total of maybe 4 minutes or so. This is kind of the consistency that you're looking for in the bait to make sure that you have a constant scent trail. Now, the thing that my best advice is, if you have kids, use them for this. This is not considered slave labor. I just realized why Dwayne wanted me to do this how-to, and this is why. It's very messy, okay? But that is the shrimp bait recipe. Now we're gonna go into the bait lab, and I'm gonna show you how to rig all the gear, the pot, the anchor line, your little mini anchor, your buoy, and all of that good stuff. Okay, welcome back. The dirty part is done. We've got the bait all mixed up, ready to go into the bait container here. So I want to walk you through the rest of the equation. I've got sitting here next to me on the table, I've got a Ladner pot. The reason I like these is because this is like a bait motel. Look at this, look at the size of this thing, okay? About 2.5 feet in diameter, can fit a lot of shrimp. And one of the other features that I really like on these pots is the doors. So if you look here, you can really see there's a nice ramp coming up to this door here. They come in and they immediately drop down to the bottom. Now, on this pot, where your bait's gonna be is in the very center, okay? Now, I've been using these for crab, so I don't have it rigged for shrimp right now, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna take some Dacron, and you're gonna put Dacron on any one of these loops, okay? And you're gonna hang it in the top of the pot. Let me show you what that's gonna look like. I'm gonna open this guy up. And the other neat feature is that these things have a purse seine on the bottom. So when you need to empty all of your shrimp up, it's a piece of cake. Open this up, all the shrimp empty through the bottom, really quick and easy. Okay, your bait box is gonna sit right in the center, right there, just like that, okay? It's never going to get hung up or tangled or anything like that, and the shrimp are going to go right to it. Now, as we go through and we look at some of the other gear that we've got on the table, you're going to notice that I've got an anchor here, okay? Now, not every situation requires the use of an anchor. Typically, if we're going to shrimp the San Juans, the current's above 2 knots, that's when we're going to use one of these little mini anchors. And what we're going to do is we are going to shackle this anchor to about a 6-foot length of chain, and then we're going to shackle this chain to the bottom edge of the shrimp pot. And that's going to give us just a little bit more grab if the current starts to move this pot. The beautiful thing about this pot, you'll notice that the edges are completely roped. So you've got this super aggressive grip on the pot, top and bottom, and that's going to grip the bottom and prevent this thing from sliding, as is its trapezoidal shape. So really awesome pot by Ladner. All right, let's talk rope for a second. Now, you will be tempted to go to the store and buy poly rope, okay? Do not do that, okay? Poly rope floats. The yellow rope is what I'm referring to. Go out and get yourself a really good, at least 400-foot shot of leaded line, okay? Either 1/4 inch or 5/16. That's what you're looking at here. When we have our shrimp openers, it's a total derby style opener, right? I think this year out in the Sound, outside Elliott Bay, we're talking about 4 hours. That's it. Inside Elliott Bay, you've got 6 hours. So it's literally like you have to be on the spot that you're going to drop. As soon as it hits 7 o'clock, you need to be ready to go. And so with that, everybody and their whole family, their cousins, their mother's cousins, once removed, they're going to be on the water in every kind of boat that you could ever imagine. You do not want your line floating. You're just giving somebody an opportunity, if you have floating line, to run that line over, and that's a lost pot, okay, or it certainly can be. As soon as that current picks up, it's going to suck that poly rope down if you don't have a buoy on it, and it's gone. Now, one of the other things that I want to mention here, and this is a demo buoy, hence no address on it, but make sure you put your name and address on the buoys you're going to use for shrimping. You got to have a yellow buoy, okay? This buoy right here is a Polyform A2 buoy. Easy to see, easy to use, great buoy. That's all you need is one buoy. So basically you'll attach the buoy to the line and the line to the pot, put the bait in here, and all you're gonna do is scoop that delicious bait into this bait container here, attach it with some Dacron to the top of the pot, and then you're in business. Now, as soon as you're ready to drop, remember, you can have 2 pots per person, but no more than 4 pots per boat, okay? So one of the things that you want to be ready to do is if you're doing it optimally, you've got 4 400-foot shots of leaded line. A great way to store the rope is to put it on a hose reel. You got to have a convenient way to keep all the rope from basically tangling with itself. Another good way is if you get a big garbage can and you kind of coil the rope in the garbage can, but whatever system works for you, definitely use it. Be ready to deploy, because I'm all about efficiency. As soon as it hits 7 o'clock, I want to have 4 pots dropped within a minute, okay? And that's no kidding. Now, I'm going to tell you that Sonar, with all the technological advances we've had in Sonar, it is becoming more and more imperative that you know how to read it, and especially read it for shrimp. So when I'm using my Ray Marine Axiom Pro, I've already got that shrimp cloud on the bottom figured out. I've got my drift figured out, and I know that as soon as I drop and that pot descends through the water column and drifts a little bit, I already know that that pot is going to hit that cloud of shrimp, okay? So use your sonar when you're out there and be on the shrimp when you're ready to drop. You might have to jockey for position with as many people as we have out there, but it's definitely worth it. Okay, that's A to Z on the shrimp game right there. We covered bait, we covered the pots. If you have any other questions, hit us up at FHN. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after this quick commercial break.